All right, yo, what's up, guys? You're tuning in to Layno Pod, the LaynoProd podcast, episode 2, with a special guest today. We got the homie Tony Shen. All right, Tony, introduce yourself.
What's up? Hello, everybody. This is my boy Layno. Dude, it's crazy. I'm Tony Shen. I make beats. Check me out at Tony Shen Productions. This is my Instagram, my YouTube. But I met Layno. I met James the craziest way. Like you wouldn't believe this. So 2 years ago, I was in Hong Kong,
What the
just like minding my own business,
what?
and then trying to learn how to sell beats. And then I scroll through the comments, and this is on Curtis King TV or some YouTube video,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
then I just saw this comment. It was like James saying, "Yo, I go to USC. Like, I'm a music production major, and like, thank you so much or something." I was like, "Yo, I go to USC too." I responded to his comment, and that's how we ended up linking up.
That's
Just through the comment section of YouTube.
Dude, I thought you were coming up with a bullshit story, but that's actually how it happened. I don't know. In your tone, it sounded like, cause I didn't know you were in Hong Kong. I was like, wait, you're in Hong, but you were. I remember, and then yeah, it was through a comment. Cause I was thinking like, how
Yeah,
did I meet you again? I was like, oh shit. Yeah, no, we linked up, and then
yeah,
you're class of 21, right? So you're
21. Yeah,
2 years below
yeah,
me. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, dude, I was gonna ask the first thing because you were still going to school, right? And like
yeah.
this whole thing hit. I mean, I have several friends that are juniors or seniors at USC, and it's like, man, I just want to know your thoughts on that. Like, how did it
I mean,
progress? Was it all of a sudden, or did people kind of know, like, okay, it's coming up, like we gotta probably move back
I
home?
mean, we always knew it was coming up, but we just didn't expect it to escalate the way it did.
Hmm.
And it's crazy, man. A lot of things are getting affected. Like
Yep.
we're doing classes through Zoom, which sucks, but also like my summer plans, like my internship, it got moved to online thing as well. So I was looking forward to that, but now it's like being reduced to 2 weeks.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, it sucks. I mean, I look like it happens though, and like it's happening to everyone,
Yeah.
And when this happens, you just got to put up with it and figure out the next move because there's nothing we can do about it now, and
Exactly.
except play our parts. Yeah.
So you were, I mean, congrats, you got an internship, man. I know you were like working hard on like, is it for business or for music or
Yeah,
yeah?
it's not for music, unfortunately, but it's for accounting. So it's at a public accounting firm.
Hey, hell yeah, dude. I mean, at least they
Yeah,
didn't like cancel it fully, man. Like
yeah,
that's
they
the
didn't
bright
cancel
side.
it,
You're still
and I got
getting
a full
it,
time offer already. So like they
dude.
already gave out the full time. So like
Congrats,
that's just
man.
what I'm thankful for, because
Hell yeah.
we're going into a recession, and
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
like I'm just thankful that I have like something, and
Hmm.
it's like yeah, it's just even though it sucks, like you just gotta do what you have, and
Yep. Yep.
yeah. And you just started selling using your Airbit again, huh? And like selling beats online.
Yeah, that's a funny story, man. So I think it was in the fall last year. I don't know if it was around December, but like I stopped. Like I took down my Beat Store website,
Oh.
and the funniest thing happened. Like the next day, this rapper from Mexico, shout out to Alex. That's one of the rappers I've been keeping in touch with. He hits me up on Instagram, DMs me. He's like, "Yo, can I buy this beat?" I was like, "Oh, yeah. I just took down my store, but I can put it on SoundCloud if you want to hear it again. Which one of these? This one, so and so." And then boom, like I sold the beat like the day after I like closed my store, and I was like, "Damn it! Like I should have kept it up." And then I think I was focusing a lot on my album, right? Like Serve the
Oh yeah,
Poor.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So I wasn't really pumping out that much beats, but like during the fall, like was it from August till January? Like I was in the Bay, right, for my internship. In my free
yeah.
time at night after my internship, I would go make beats. I was just cooking up, and I was like, I have all these beats. Some of it I'm sending out to artists. Some of it I might use, I might not. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna just like redo my beat store because of the Ant Chamberlain interview on
Yeah.
Producer Grind podcast. He's like, yeah, man, I upload a beat every day on YouTube for a year, and like I was able to build it off that. And he stuck with like one artist, and I was like majority of my beats that sell and that people like are the Kanye West type ones. I'm like, okay, I can see that. I guess that's my strength. Why don't I just double down on that? And it's what comes naturally to me too. Like normally it would take me a while to cook up like 4 hours, but now I can do it in like two, 1.5. I don't do much. I don't really arrange it crazy because I know these artists, they want to just have enough to write to, and they
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
stems, they could rearrange it. So that's been like my whole process. Just like crank out these beats, upload it, and I'm like trying to use my photography in a way to like give it that aesthetic. And now I'm like doing these podcasts because I'm trying to see like, okay, I'm getting into streetwear and like this came in the mail. I ordered the latest like shirt I'm trying to put out.
Oh yeah.
For my yeah, and I'm trying to make it not merch, but like I'm trying to do like streetwear now, and like I'm learning a lot about that. So I'm just trying a bunch of new stuff that's exciting. At the same time, like, man, dude, I'm more happy than I was in the Bay, because I mean, as much I was getting paid and whatnot, it was kind of nice, and I kind of missed that paycheck because my coworkers are now working from home, and it's like, damn, that would have been nice. But I chose to leave. They offered to extend it, but I chose to leave because I wanted to focus on music and something that made me more happy. And now I'm back in LA. And dude, I know I kind of feel it now, like the struggle for it. But
Yeah.
I'm just happy I'm with my fam, and I have way more freedom, is what I'm saying. At least with my time.
Yeah.
And I realize
Yeah.
that's the most valuable thing. Like, I could choose what I want to do. I mean, it's not easy. There's pressure, like I pay bills, pay my student loans, all that shit. But, I think now when I'm creating, it's like my mind is more focused. It's more free, is what I'm saying. So
Yeah, man.
I think
I
that's
feel that
why
for sure.
I think that's why I wanted to do more of the beat store thing, but also not put all my eggs in one basket, because
Yeah.
I'm trying a bunch of stuff, whether it's reaching out to artists, reaching out to producers, engineers, doing other stuff I like photography or videos, like podcasts. So
Yeah, I've been seeing your photography, yo. That looks pretty fire. Like
thanks.
the film. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And like
got
you
it.
have
Yeah.
just a really consistent theme through all your beats that you upload with your photos. It's like you can see it, and it's like it's one person doing all of this, and it's like pretty recognizable at this point, at least for me.
Thanks, man. And that's what I've
Yeah.
learned from just observing. Like, there's a lot of great artists that came out of USC. Some of them haven't blown up yet, but they're on the way. They're on the come up. And I'm
Yeah.
like, one thing they always
Dude, it's
had,
crazy.
besides obviously the like amazing talent and network, is visuals. Like, I
Yeah.
haven't really seen someone that was on the come up that like their videos or their look was not entertaining or heartfelt or eye catching or relatable. So I was like, okay, I need to study that more and put into action like how I could do that for my own brand. And I was like, okay, that's the hardest thing, right? Because like, I don't know if you relate to this, but as producers, sometimes we just want to be that, because like that's the main thing we love. You know what I mean? It's like, I make beats, man, and I make fire beats, and like
Yeah.
that's it. But the thing about that is like, as much as talent is important, and I really love Anderson Paak's interview on Pensado's Place. Do you know Pensado's Place? It's like the Dave Pensado, legendary audio engineer. He interviews like mostly producers and engineers, but he brought on Anderson Paak there, and he was emphasizing how like artists should focus on their craft, not worry too much about like networking and whatnot. He said that on
Yeah.
the Dumbfounded podcast too.
Yeah.
Because when you're tested, you want to be able to like show that you know what you're doing. Like, say you're in a studio
Yeah.
sesh, you don't want to be that guy that's like fake, and it's like you have the opportunity but you don't deliver because you haven't developed those skills. But at the same time, the people that are making it, their hustle is like way past everyone else's, and they might not even be the best like talent wise. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I respect that, and I'm inspired by that. So that took off the pressure from me to be like, oh, I shouldn't do this or that because I'm not ready for it. My skills aren't developed yet. Now I don't give a fuck, dude. I just that's always been my thing, man. If I feel like putting it out, I'm gonna put it out because I know that it's not the final thing. I'm like on to the next, and I think
Yeah.
that's how I was able to stay consistent and outlast some of my peers that became interested in this, because I like legitimately love the art of doing this. Where, dude,
Yeah.
I've been making beats since 2011, basically, like freshman in high school, and I don't think I'm anywhere near the very beginning of my career. It's just the past 6 months, the past years, I made all these connections, but I know that takes time to develop those relationships. And at the same time, like, I'm reminded that even though I look at people that are young that are making it, I'm only 22. That's still pretty young, man. I have a long way to go, and that's what drives me and keeps me excited to not worry about like putting out stuff and it not getting good reception. But I also um, take into consideration constructive criticism, and I noticed that you know the saying, right? Like the meaning of insanity is like trying to change something, or no, trying to expect different
It's
results,
to
but you're doing the same
is this
thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like get different results from doing the same thing. Yeah, yeah, no,
So I
I know what you mean.
realized like maybe I gotta change stuff up because I'm not seeing certain results. So that's what I'm doing, man. And yeah, I talk too much. I wanted to know like what your thoughts about on that, like as a producer, or just in general as a creative. What's been your I guess approach to trying to advance your career in any way?
I mean, I think coming from where I'm coming from and learning the things and knowing the things I know,
Mm-hmm.
I look at it obviously from music because that's always been my passion my entire life,
Yeah.
but also through a sense of what works. And ultimately, you have to account the business side of things. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like, you can be the best artist in the world, but like, we don't know the best. Like, obviously, like, if you think about it, like, all the artists you know,
Yeah.
right? The people that you don't know, there
Yeah.
could be like so many more that are a lot more talented, but they can't
Exactly.
make it past because they don't understand how to grow their
Their
business. And
business.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
ultimately what gets your music out to people.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I've been doing a lot in terms of figuring out a way to look at all of this as a form of investing money and getting returns.
Yep.
That, at
Yep.
the end of the day, that's what it is, right? Like,
Yep.
I put in, let's say, $1,000 to work on my website,
Yeah.
on Facebook ads, on
Yeah.
features, on Instagram shout outs, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
What combination of these things can I do, and who can I reach out to, or what ads can I put out? Who can I pay on Fiverr with all this money
Yeah.
that I put in
Exactly. Yeah.
to get me the best amount of results and
Mm-hmm.
turn that $1,000 into $2,000, et
Yep.
cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So I've been spending a lot more time. Obviously, like, I've been playing guitar every single day. I've been working on my music. I made like yesterday, man.
I see it,
I
man.
made I made like I just went on Looper, man. Downloaded like ten loops. I made 4 beats in an hour, dude. Like,
Ooh.
I've been doing all that, but also focusing time on learning the business side of things
Yeah. Yeah.
and investing in myself and just type of knowledge because I think that's what separates a talented artist from a successful artist.
Artists or any creatives that understand the business aspect. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
was always told, if you want this to be, if you want to live off this, right, you have to treat
Yeah.
it like a business, and you have to fall in love with that as much as you love and put work into your craft. You gotta treat that the
Yeah.
same with your business, and I've been
Yeah.
doing that more in terms of at least the visuals. I think I got kind of burned out in terms of the marketing because that was the main
Yeah.
thing I was that I really loved in my when I was at USC, right?
Yeah.
As a music industry, music business major, like I mean, I was audio recording. That's like audio engineering minor, and those were my best classes because like after I go in the studio, I'm able to apply those mixes at home. But the
Yeah.
marketing, I was interested in it, but I was always like, am I not finding the right people, or am I not applying this correctly or enough to my like let's say like an album release, right?
Yeah.
I always respected and love like how people do the PR side, the marketing, the
Yeah.
emails, the music videos,
Yeah.
the live shows, and how they promote all that from a business aspect. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm like, man, this is draining. I don't know if I love this as much as like I'd rather just cook up right now and maybe
Yeah.
pay someone to
Yeah.
do it. But it was good because I was able to understand it. So when I do have the
Yeah.
resources to outsource that to someone, I can
Yeah.
communicate with them, and I know if they're effing
Yeah.
up, I know how to be like, that's not where I want to go. This is how I want to do it.
Yeah.
Here's the plan. I need someone to execute it. Um,
Yeah.
so right now, I realize like for at least for marketing, visuals and consistency is a huge theme, and that's what I'm really
Yeah.
working on right now. I'm not too worried and too like anxious about the strategy, like over strategizing.
Yeah.
I'm more like I'm gonna do what
Yeah.
I feel, but I'm gonna do it consistently, and I'm gonna keep putting out
Yeah.
this image that people see, so it sticks in your head. Like you said, like
Yeah.
with the beats I've been putting up, the film photography, there's a certain
Yeah.
aesthetic. I mean,
Yeah.
when people that listen to me, when you see this pattern, red, yellow, blue, in the street, I don't know if you're reminded of me. Probably not yet, but I'm trying to get it to that point where it's like you just see a color combination and you're like you think of LaynoProd. I'm like, damn, that'd be tight if that could happen, because like that would that's what I want. That's like my goal. One of my goals, you know. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
no, for sure. Yeah.
I think definitely the business side is like artists that just want to do one thing. I used to be like that, man. I was super stubborn. That's why I tell people all the time, like, oh, if there's something you regret in college, and you know they say don't live with regrets, but to be honest, I do regret um, my freshman and sophomore year, because all I did was stay in the room and cook up. I wasn't like collaborating with artists as much. I wasn't like going to parties to like make connections. And I was like,
Yeah.
imagine I did that, dude. I don't know where I would have been right now. But I don't dread on it.
Yeah.
I acknowledge it. I don't dread on it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's a lesson learned. Next time when I'm in those situations, which it's harder now when you graduate, because you know there's not everyone's meeting for a class or a group or a club that you're in. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
what's the adult version of that? Studio sesh, Facebook groups,
Dude, Instagram.
yeah, Instagram, yeah, and it's people. The potential to collab now is still there, and it's good for people like us that are used to working from home and online and still get work
Yeah.
done through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no barrier. It might seem like it's limited, but for people like us, it's like it's actually accessible. You just gotta like research.
No, dude,
Yeah.
for real. Like, you have no idea how much power you hold in your phone. Like, my best friend
Yeah.
that I make music with right now, I've never even met him in real life. Like, we just met through Instagram.
That's
For real.
crazy, man. That's tight.
Yeah, yeah, and like we're working on albums together, and like we're building up his brand. We're working with other people, building up his brand. Like, I'm pretty much his producer, slash
Oh,
manager.
yeah, that's tight.
And
I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
we got a project coming up. Lataj is super talented. Check him out. Lataj, Lataj official.
Okay.
He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. Dude, he's popping. Yeah, and we're working on a project. But you have no idea. Like, your phone, this can literally, dude, make you so much money without you even going out of your house, man.
Bro.
At first, like, dude, this quarantine thing, I was like, dude, I was so
Yeah.
pissed. I had so many plans for spring break. I was meeting up with artists. I was
For
doing other
sure,
stuff,
man.
and I had really exciting summer plans. And I was so pissed when this happens. But now I'm thinking about it, like, dude, this is all we need.
Exactly.
Every single penny I've made through music has been through this.
Dude.
You think
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, to relate with that, man, I'll bring up two things. I'll bring up the first one, which is like the power of the phone, right? So, one time I
Yeah.
was in the Bay, and like it was like I was done with work, and I think it was before I had my first paycheck, so I was
Yeah.
like pretty tight on money, right?
yeah,
And I literally did not have money to eat that after I came from work, because I commute, right?
damn,
And I was like,
yeah,
what do I do, man? I literally DM'd, and this is the craziest thing. I didn't think it would work, but it did. I DM'd like over 100 like rappers, artists. And I was like, yo, exclusives for $30, right? Like, I'm laughing because me and Tony were joking earlier. Like, was it like 20 for 20 exclusives for $20? No, but I was like one exclusive for 30, which is like for my price point, like that's super low, because I make my basic lease at 30 at that time.
Yeah.
So I'm like exclusives for 30, and then like this one rapper like actually fucked with it, hit me up, Cash App. I was like, thank you God. I was like,
damn, really, that works.
it literally fed me, and I thought it didn't work because like, well, I don't do that now, but
Yeah.
at the time, you know, when you're desperate, you just do whatever, dude. You do whatever it takes.
Yeah,
And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, like a beat sale just fed me literally that night. It literally fed me.
damn, it's
I was
crazy.
super like happy, and I was like, damn, that's wild. And that taught me, first of all, don't spam, because I learned the hard way, dude. Spamming like ruined a lot of relationships that I was trying to build. But what I would take from that is not being afraid to ask, because
Yeah,
and to follow up to my next point with not being afraid to ask is again with the power of the phone. I won't say the producer's name because I'm still like in the works with it, so I don't want to like, what do you call it, predetermine something that didn't happen
jeopardize.
yet. Yeah, jeopardize, but it's in the works. There's this producer, he's on the come up. I'll say that at most, because if I give any more info, you're gonna know who it is. I'll keep you updated next week if it goes well. But I hit up this person in October because he was on an episode of a producer podcast that I watch, and I was really inspired by it, and I wanted to see if I could help them out, right? And they said, yeah, cool. Can you send? Here's my email. Can you send me some of your work? That was in October, right? And at the time, I was still working at my internship in the Bay, and I was like, I don't even know. Say he does F with me, I don't even know if I could commit the time to do it. So I got scared. I backed out. I didn't respond. I didn't send any email, right? And then this
Yeah.
producer recently came up again on another video, and then I followed up. This time with like more, cause like over that time span, October till what is it now? It's March. That's like 5 months. I had like way more stuff I could show, so it was kind of meant to be that I didn't send anything, cause if I did, it would have been like really minimal and like not as helpful.
Yeah.
But now I was able to
Yeah.
build way more in those 5 months. But it just remembered when I saw this producer show up again in a recent video, and I was like, all right, I just gotta shoot my shot. Who knows, man? Like he probably
Yeah.
hasn't seen this message in a while. I doubt he's gonna reply. He freaking replies to me today, like literally today, this morning, email, DM, and now I'm gonna be on a call with him next week. So that doesn't mean
Dude, that's
anything,
awesome,
but
man.
it shows that he does have a level of interest, and I hope to collab with him in any way I can and help him out. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But that
Yeah,
goes to
man.
my point again, not being afraid to ask, because you never know.
Yeah.
These DMs could go a long way, man. Like holy shit.
Yeah, dude. I kind of wish I followed up with people, and I feel like I missed out on a lot of opportunities. Yeah, you know who Umi is?
Oh, I have a
Dude,
funny.
she was in my class.
I have a
We were
funny
in the same
story about her, but you
group,
could go
and,
first.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
dude, we were in the same, like, we're in multiple classes together. Like, we're in the same group for a business class. Like, we don't have a picture together.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember, like, when we were first introducing each other, I was like, yo, I make music, and I have, like, a SoundCloud. And she was like, yeah, me too. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't even think that she'd blow up like this in less than a year, or, like, maybe a year or two.
I think it
Dude,
was
it's crazy.
like a year or two for sure. Cause she was getting a lot of traction last year and a little bit in 2018. I have a funny story with Umi actually. So, we were living not in the same exact apartment of USC, but that area, and that area of USC housing apartments, they had a graffiti tour for LA, like the arts district. And shout out to Umi. She probably doesn't know who I am anymore, but if she sees this somehow, it's a funny story. So I'm on the graffiti tour, right? And I think I told you I used to do graffiti, so I'm like super into it, right? So we're looking at all these murals in the LA district. And then she was one of the people. It was a group of like 15, 20 kids. It was like a little field trip for our apartment. It was really cool. And then when we were about to eat, I think we got in the conversation, and she said something like, "You look like a rapper or a producer." Like I don't know how she sensed that, because nothing about me. I don't know if it was the hat or whatever. And I was like, "Yeah, I actually do make music. This is what I make. So and so. Do you make music?" She's like, "Yeah, I actually do." She shows me her Spotify, right? And at this time, it was like it was still a lot. I was like, "Oh shit, man, you're popping." That was like when she wasn't in the millions yet. She was like in the hundreds or like tens of thousands. But to me, that's popping for USC.
She's
at
in the
least.
millions now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the funny thing is, I guess that goes to show that you never know where, like people on your left and your right in your class or in your club or apartment, you never know who's gonna take off. And I think I missed the opportunity because we related on that, and then we exchanged info and whatnot. But I never like reached out. Like it was just one of those things where it was like, I guess when I was at USC, I met a lot of artists that were on the come up, such as her. And me personally, I felt intimidated to be like, because I didn't want to look like I was just like trying to reach out to gain some of her like so-called clout or whatever, right? So I guess that was me.
Yeah.
That fear took over, and then I backed out. I never reached out to her, but I don't know. I thought that was just a funny story that she already knew just by looking at me that I probably made music, and like yeah, but she probably doesn't know who I am anymore. But but it's all good. So that lesson was like don't back out basically, because you never know who you talk to, who's gonna be like popping. So you gotta shoot your shot with everybody and treat everyone right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I've never been the type to ask someone above me just like use someone just for their popularity or whatever.
Right.
Like the people I'm working with now are pretty low key, and I'm trying to build up from there and grow with them.
That's the best way as a producer too.
Yeah, because like that's the only way I'm gonna solidify. Like that's if we both start from nothing. I feel because if I work all of a sudden with someone who's like a lot bigger than me, I'm gonna have to do things that
you might come
are
and go
completely out of my way.
Yeah,
Exactly. So it's yeah.
That's kind of what I'm doing with my cousin. Well, that's the hard thing with me. Like, I'm trying to learn. So this year, one of my goals, a lot of it revolved around me being a producer and not as an artist, right? So I was like, okay, I put out my album, which I was honestly like really happy to do because from an art standpoint, I achieved my vision. I still wanted to do more with it, but I was like, I want to focus more on this year as a producer. And I was like, that because I was always used to doing everything, right? Like when I learned how to make beats, I was also learning how to rap. I was learning how to engineer. So I didn't collab with a lot of people unless it was like maybe my cousin who like we're like brothers, like iron sharpen iron. We've been making music around that same time and we still have music goals today. And it was always hard for me in college to like collab with artists because I myself saw myself as an artist. And I guess my ego and my vision was really strong and dominant that I would always want it to be like my song instead of contributing to someone else's song. And that's another lesson I learned. And I think me focusing as a producer this year is training me to like how to execute someone else's vision, right? Because I mean, ideally, that's what a producer should do, in my opinion, for artists. Like to make their vision come to life through sonics, through features, through engineering, all that. So I think what you're doing is amazing, like building with an artist. Because, dude, I can't wait till I find that day of building with an artist, man. And I think that's why I'm at the point where I'm first just shopping my stuff around and building my brand. Because I don't want to force people to rap over my style of production, because then it's not going to come natural. I want people that like that really fuck with my sound, because I don't want to always like, I mean, it's good to be flexible as a producer, that'll open up more gigs, but at the same time, because I'm working on my brand, I have a certain integrity and vision for that I only want to attract the certain artists. Now that doesn't mean I'll say no to a lot of people, because I'm at the point in my career where I have to say yes a lot because I'm barely starting, you know. I can't afford to say no to all these people, but eventually at that point I want to be known for a certain type of sound and not just like a producer that gets a placement with a billion other artists, because then you're kind of a slave, or not a slave, but you're kind of like always recognized under the shadow of that artist, you know what I mean, rather than your own. And I've been learning a lot about ownership and having your own lane and all that, and carving out your own niche. And the crazy thing about the internet is that it's out there, you know what I mean? You just gotta put more out, and there's people that really F with it. We just don't know who they are yet. Yeah. So props to
But
you,
if
man.
you think about it,
Yeah.
once you collaborate with a certain amount of people, like you become the center of everything. Once
true.
people start connecting the dots and seeing all the collaborations that you've been making with all these people,
That's
even
true.
if you're just contributing, at a certain point you become the main asset. Like you become the connection between everyone else.
Right,
The fact
right.
that people are building around you through all these collaborations makes your brand even better.
Right,
Like I feel like in music, your brand is your biggest asset as
Right.
a performing artist.
Right.
Like you could be the most talented person, you could be the next Beethoven, but if
Right.
your brand, like no one knows who you are, no one respects your brand,
Right,
and your
right.
brand is off, and like you don't have a consistent idea that you're pushing out, then you're not
Right.
going to be respected. So I feel like collaboration is definitely a part of the brand, because if you think about it, not just in terms of business, like just in terms of collaborating with other people, how much you learn and how much you pick up from other people, like to me that's even more important.
Right.
Because with all the artists that I've worked with, I picked up something from them, whether it's like a certain sound that they look for, or like a certain arrangement, or just, I don't know, like in terms of writing too. Like I've been writing and I picked it up from working with other people. So I think I agree. I mean, I definitely sensed that from you as well when we first met, and I've seen it in you,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like want everything to sound your certain way, and I respect
It's
that.
hard for me to switch the
And
artist hat from the
yeah,
producer hat
yeah,
because I'm like
yeah,
because my whole mindset was like, man, if you don't use this, I'm gonna rap on it, and part of that is like
yeah,
ego, but part of that is also true because I don't produce something that I don't feel like I could personally like spit on. I'm not saying I'm not the best, but I'm like
yeah.
I put my all in that beat, and if no one wants it, shit, I'm gonna take it. That's why I rarely have like, well, now I have a stockpile.
Like
Like
throwaways.
I've been upload,
Yeah,
yeah, because for me it's not a throwaway. It's a throwaway if I don't even save the project. If I save it, I'm most likely finishing it. I'm so good with that, dude, because
uh,
I'm so into it. I know that okay, after a year, I look back at it, I'll cringe. I'm like, I could have made the drums better, or I should have done a different chord progression. But at the time, I love it. I put it out there, and I'm like, okay, no one's gonna use this. I'll send it to someone else, or I'll use it. That's always been my mindset.
yeah,
But I wanted to ask you because
yeah,
I'm learning a lot just from hearing you talking and the types of approach you're having.
yeah.
Is when I do have when people do because I have like the rappers that like bought my beats. I've always
Hmm.
like tried to know like how do I build that relationship with them, especially if I can't always physically like meet them in person. Because you know me, like, I'd rather be in the room, when I'm cooking up.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now, the whole situation, I kind of don't have a choice. So how are you maintaining and or building new relationships with artists as a producer?
Hmm.
What are you doing
Hmm.
besides obviously like leasing a beat to them? What extra things are you saying, or do you keep up with them? Are you their friends, or is it mainly like a business relationship, which is totally fine too? But I'm
Yeah.
just curious how you approach that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like the two closest artists that I've been working with, one's like Zach West, Zach Guo. He just got in a car accident.
Oh
He's
shit.
he's okay though. He's okay though, but
Mm.
yeah, he just sent me a text actually. But yeah, him and then Lataj,
Mm-hmm.
the guy I just told you about. And to me, like they're friends
Mm-hmm.
more than anything else. And
That's the
that's like the
best,
most
dude.
important part.
Yeah.
That's what keeps it up, honestly. Because
Mm-hmm.
like Lataj, like we talk every day. Like we FaceTime, even though I've never met him in
Wow.
real life. Like
That's
we
tight.
FaceTime.
That's
And
tight.
Zach, like yeah, I met him a couple times, even though like
Yo,
we're really
Zach's
far right
work
now. But
ethic is
yeah,
it's inspiring, man. That guy hustles.
that guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's doing good now too. He's like he's found a way to monetize his music. I'm gonna tell you how, but he's doing good.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm proud of how far I've seen him because like that's really how you build relationships. I think is just growing with them,
Mm-hmm.
and like while they improve, you improve at the same time, and just maintain that type of relationship because one day you're gonna look back and you're gonna see that person and you're gonna be like, I remember when your songs were trash, and like same thing. Like, dude, the first beats I showed Zach, like the first beats I showed the Taj, even like, oh my god, oh my god. But yeah, it's just growing. It's just struggling together, I guess. And sometimes I take music out of it. Like half the time when we're talking, it's not even about music.
Dude, that's
So
that's great.
yeah,
That's what I'm like curious to see how you do that from well, not in Zach's case because you guys met in real life. So I
yeah,
feel like that dynamic is a little different versus Lataj, right? Is his name?
yeah, yeah,
Like this
yeah.
guy you said you never met, right? I'm
I never
curious.
met him, dude.
Was it from the jump, from the moment you guys hit each other up, that like you knew that this was gonna be like, cause like you said you hit him up every day. Now, personally, I don't
Yeah,
mind that. I actually like that.
yeah,
But I could see for some other people who are busy or have other stuff to do, they can see it as like,
yeah.
man, this guy's annoying or he's clingy. Like, but then you don't always bring it up about music, which is great. I'm curious to
Yeah.
see like maybe from the jump, I'm assuming that you guys clicked right away, or
No, it
oh,
wasn't
okay.
even like that. Like when I first met him, I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to sell him a beat.
Hey, dude, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, yo, I need this money.
It was fire. It was fire. I was like, yo, like I really like your music. Like let's
Yeah,
connect.
yeah.
I'll send you some beats and like whatever,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
And dude, eventually, like we just like when we're just talking and we're talking about like his music, and I was like, you like what inspired you behind this music? And he was telling me the story about a girl, and I was like, yo, dude, same thing happened to me exactly. Like I thought he was a lot older because of the way his voice sounded. I was like, "Yo, how old are you?" He's like, "Yo, I'm 20." I'm like, "What? I'm 20." Like,
That's tight.
and like, dude, yeah, we just had so much in common, and then it's just
It's
you're
like
not
any
honestly not
relationship,
with
yeah.
everyone. Yeah. Like you're gonna meet people that you absolutely hate, and I still hate today. You're gonna meet people that you just end up clicking with. It's just putting yourself out there because out of every
Okay.
person that you hate, there's also a person that you might end up bonding with. So, like,
Yeah.
just a numbers game for me, honestly. And I was lucky enough to come across them.
Dude, that's good hearing that from you, cuz like now that just gave me like a little epiphany in my head. It's like I don't think I'm putting myself out there as much as I could, because
Yeah.
I'm always like I'm looking for people like a Lataj, like someone I could click with and have a lot of commonalities, so that our goals organically can align more, because we have like it's kind of like you grew up with each other but you didn't, which is beautiful. That's the thing that the internet could do. And I think
Yeah.
like I guess what I'm learning is like I'm expecting that, but I'm expecting it too much, where that disappointment when I don't get it, I'm not, it didn't push me to put myself out there more. But it's cool how you're saying like it's like a numbers game, that if you eventually put yourself out there enough, you're gonna find the artist that fucks with you. So that's tight, man. And that's pretty cool how like you ask them basically their story, how they get inspired, how they got their career, and through their story you relate to it, and then you just build off that. So maybe that's what I need to do more, man, because like I mean, I would follow up with the rappers that bought my beats, but I was never like asking personal shit. Like,
Yeah, you gotta ask him personal, because if you think about it, you're an artist, right? Like you write and like you put out songs that you would consider like your own piece of work.
You put your life.
That means
on
you
the
love
lyrics.
talking about yourself.
Yeah,
that means you just want to express yourself.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of an artist.
That's true.
So you just gotta like ask them the questions that they want to tell. Like ask them their story, and they'll be happy to tell it to you, right? So that's what you gotta do, man. It's not like what they can do for you sometimes is what you can do for them. And
right.
the very easiest thing you can do is listen.
That's true. I know from an artist's perspective, man.
Yeah.
Every artist wants to be heard. They want to tell their story.
Yeah.
They want to share their opinions.
Yeah.
Not only in lyrics, but just their thoughts in general. So that's tight how you were able to provide that for the artists that you reach out to. I'll definitely take note of that.
Yeah. Like this is one thing that actually got me a bunch of sales. It's like on my Instagram, and that's how I got like a really dedicated fan base last summer. Like I was really posting like emotional stuff. Like I was going through some stuff, and then like I was like, yo, I'm not feeling so well right now. Like I made a post, and like a bunch of people reached out to me, and that's back when I had like 200 followers on Instagram, like a brand new account that I actually didn't like. I started from scratch.
I saw it
to
grow,
me, I was
man.
like, yeah,
and people are engaged. They're
really
like,
powerful.
yo, man, I fucked with this and all that. And it's not like the spam bots either. Like these are people you've been building with. So like that's tight.
Yeah, and the reason I built up my relationship is like I would literally just tell them to send me their music. Like no matter how good or how bad it was, I just listen and give them critique. And that's how I ended up like it's like providing value. And to me, it doesn't even take any money to do it. Like I'm not buying their merch. I'm not. You know, like buying their tracks on iTunes, but I'm just providing my insight, and to them that's like important.
That could probably be worth more because you have experience, and that probably allowed them to level up to the next step or tier in their craft, in their songwriting, in their beat selection, all that. So man, that's tight. So yeah, dude, that's good. That definitely gave me a wake up call and allows me to rethink certain approaches I have towards artists I'm trying to reach out to. So that's good, man. I'll take note of that for sure.
I guess just to sum it up, you just have to think about what you can provide to other people. And if it's free, then that's even better.
Even better, oh, for sure, man. I ain't trying to sell a course just to critique your stuff. No, that's dope, man. You're really putting yourself out there, and I'm happy for you. And I'm seeing you grow a lot, man. The hustle's there, but also the empathy and the care and the connection and the building just in general. So that's tight, man. Anything else? If not, we could go to questions, man. We don't have a lot of questions, but I have a homie that he asked me a lot of questions, and I mean, we could go there, or unless you had anything else more you wanted to add.
I'd say, I don't know, this just came into my mind, but like I don't talk about this a lot, but the reason why I got into production in the first place is I actually like came from a really classical music background,
Oh shit.
and I actually hated like I hated music from the start because I was being forced to play piano and like really
Right.
didn't like it.
Right.
But what got me into music was this classical like clarinet teacher,
Hmm.
and like the first things he told me, he was like, Tony, what is a musician's most important tool? I was like, I don't know, like your fingers or your mouth, because it's a clarinet. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, nah, it's your ears. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
that's stuck in different ways because, yeah, you need your ears to listen to music, and musically, that's important. But, like, when it comes to building relationships, your
Mm,
ears are more important than what you say. Like, what you listen and what you understand from another person is more important than what you tell them,
for
in a
sure.
way. At least for me, because I'm not that good of a talker, but, like, I try to
Hey, you're
listen.
killing it right now in this podcast, man.
Thank you.
Just know that you're helping a lot of other creatives and artists and producers just by. I mean, you helped me just right now. I didn't even expect all that. I was like, oh shit, that's tight. And it's all rooted in because you're a good listener. I mean, you listen to your artists, and that's how you're able to build.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm still trying to improve, but
always. Yeah.
obviously, yeah, yeah. Your
And
ears, I mean,
And to add to
yeah.
that, yeah, I saw that story. I was like, clarinet lessons. I was like, what? You play clarinet? I don't think I picked this up. I thought you were just cooking up
I
trap
was
beats
pretty
and
nice
guitar.
with it. Yeah.
Whereas the clarinet type beats now I'm playing.
Dude, I want to do clarinet. I want to do Squidward.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Squidward type beat.
Yeah, there you go, man. That's the meme right there. Do you have your clarinet with you right now,
Yeah,
or
I do actually. I
okay,
do.
bro? What are you doing?
I'm trying to give out clarinet lessons. I'm trying to be a freelance online Zoom clarinet teacher.
And or make a fucking sample pack of clarinet loops. Shit, man, who knows? Call it the
Squidward
Squidward pack. Yeah, I don't know. watch
You're right.
Nickelodeon sue you.
You
No,
just
I'm
gave me a
playing.
great idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm serious, dude. Fucking tweak
Yeah.
it. Put your FL Studio like distortion plugins and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
tight.
am coming up with my own drum kit though. It's called the Tony Shen Slap Pack. It's
Shit. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
might
gonna have
need
some
that.
clarinet in there.
I need some
Yeah.
new drums. That's what I realized because a few of my
I got
homies.
you.
Thanks, bro. A few of my homies were asking like, yeah, because they're getting into production too. So I'm like, oh yeah, these are the drums I use. And made me realize, I was like, I've been using these same drums a little too much. I kind of want some new shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been using the same 808 Mafia, Lex Luger, like Cardo kit, and I'm like, I would mix it my certain way to make it different.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
For
yeah, I
sure.
could use some new kits, man. So hey, that'd be dope if you come
Yeah.
out with a kit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely shout it out to people that are
Yeah.
interested too, and
Dude, let me know if you want guitar loops too.
always,
Well,
man.
yeah.
I have like a couple homies that like I know play guitar, but at this
Mhm.
point, because I'm so used to sampling, I don't care what you play, man. Because
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that's why I never get. You know how like a lot of producers they get beat block, like
Yeah.
or they're not inspired, because I'm.
Yeah.
You could label me as a sample producer. I'm always inspired by loops and samples. I never run out of ideas. That's how I'm able to cook up so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, I need to let me know what type of vinyl you're trying to do. I'm actually working on a. Oh, you guys, the listeners are gonna hear it for the first time. I'm working on a beat tape with my cousin, and it's just some like
Oh,
fun
that's
shit.
dope.
We're just doing it for fun, but
Yeah.
I'm literally pulling in samples from. I got it from like different cities, right? From
Yeah.
Manila, so that's Philippines. London,
Yeah.
so that's England.
Dude, that's
Hawaii,
dope.
Ireland, and Detroit. So I don't know how this
Yeah.
beat tape is gonna sound, but like, dude, I've accumulated. I don't have that many vinyl, but I have at least 100, and I haven't even checked all those like A sides, B sides. And if I did, and I made notes on the back, like, oh, this has like vocals, this has strings. I never even recorded some of those. I just made those notes. But like, if you're
Oh,
looking for a
yeah.
certain type of sound, maybe I could dig something up and like just send those
Yeah.
samples to you. And they're so obscure, man. Like, I doubt you're gonna get sued. Like, these are like dollar
Yeah,
records that
thank
no
you.
one
I
wants to
appreciate
buy.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So it might spice up
Yeah.
your thing or
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
But yeah,
I've always like I feel like sampling has always been my weak point. Like
we gotta trade knowledge on that because drums.
Yeah.
I need to improve my drums, and I remember for the podcast listeners, my first like, I guess you showed me your beats at your apartment, but when
Oh,
Tony
yeah,
when
yeah.
Tony came to my apartment, and he cooked
Oh,
up
yeah.
he cooked up cheesecake, which unfortunately it didn't make the album. Oh, to add to that,
Yeah.
the reason why I didn't make the
Sure.
album It sounds like I'm breaking up. It's not you, it's me. No, but it really is me. No, I feel bad because I had my homie, shout out to my homie Michael, play trombone on there, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I had the homie Brandon do trumpet. Like I had like a whole horn section.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember. I was at that
yeah,
session.
yeah, and Zach Z McD, he mixed it or at least tracked
Yeah.
those horns. But when I was mixing it, I was doing so many wrong steps, and those piled up. Guess how many masters
Oh.
I had, like versions of masters,
40.
like 60 something, and I was like, you know,
60.
ideally at like 10, you'd call it a day.
Bro, that's like,
That's when you know.
bro, that's like 4 GB.
That's when you know. I'm not joking, bro. That's when you know that it wasn't probably the mix. No, it wasn't the master. It was the mix. I was mixing it wrong from the beginning and working. I was taking 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward. Every master I would export, and that like killed my inspiration. Oh, shouts out to Cole too, because he did a verse to that. The homie Cole found. Like, I completely like put that elsewhere, but I don't know. Maybe I'll put it out as a single if I work on it again. But who knows? But it was not your fault. In fact, you made that beat way better because Tony did the drums. And I mentioned this because when he went over to my apartment, that was like the fastest I've seen somebody cook on FL Studio, bro. He did it in like 20, 30
Really?
minutes. And then what took me by surprise, I'm like, this guy's like rolling the open hi-hats or the percussion or the shakers. I don't know what you were rolling, but I was like,
That was the first time I did that too, actually.
I'm like,
I've actually never done that before.
Yeah, like usually you roll the snares. I was like, damn, okay. If I get in a session one day and they need somebody to do drums, I'm pulling in Tony because he's like quick with it, FL Studio, and he has the ear for it. So yeah, to the listeners, if Tony puts out a drum kit, you guys cop that shit because, you know, this guy's, he knows the trap formula and more. Yeah, so
Dude, honestly though, the way like I made a YouTube video actually, like the easiest way to make your drum slap is like, dude, you have a really technical like mixing background, so you're definitely gonna criticize me for this, but
no. Wait, I'll stop you there. I know what it is. I do this already.
Camel Crusher?
Oh no,
On the master?
I use Soft Clipper.
Oh no. I used to do that, but dude, what slaps even harder is like
Camel
I put
Crusher?
the Camel Crusher and I put like I just distort the entire master, and like that makes the drum slap so hard.
Dude,
You
I'm
have no
super
idea.
against touching the master. Like I don't put things on my mix or my master, but it's like I'm just like, oh, you know why I don't do that is like, if someone wants the stems, I don't want them to like, I want to give them the stems so that when they put it together, it's the final product that I put out. But hey, man, that is a technique. Yeah. But man, that just scares me. I mean, even what I do, I just like for FL Studio, you just turn the volume up, turn the volume up, the volume knob, and then
it clips
the soft clipper, and then
Yeah.
it slaps already. So. And then I put some my little sauces. I put a little bit of McDSP compressors because I used to interpret them, and that gets it really like because they're good at the McDSP plugins are really good at modeling the analog compressors.
Yeah.
So it has like that saturation, that color to it, rather than just having it knock. It has a little bit of a color to it. But yeah, man, that's tight, man. I appreciate your tutorials and whatnot. Yeah. And just giving
like
people
I feel
gems,
like yeah, because everything I learned from making music, I learned from YouTube.
Same.
It was like it's from like an older generation of producers, like the Curtis Kings, like the Busyworks beats.
Those two,
right?
yeah.
And like,
that's all for
and
me,
like,
those two, yeah.
I'm just trying to pass on the knowledge that I got to like,
hell yeah,
new people. Yeah.
For sure, man. I'm gonna get water real quick because my mouth's running dry, but we'll do questions next. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get water.
Let me do a quick sponsor.
Yeah, go take over real quick.
Today's video is sponsored by CVS Pharmacy Isopropyl Alcohol. It's 91%, and I use this to clean all my minor wounds and scrapes. It is very helpful because you don't want your wounds to get infected. And whenever I fall on my bike or whenever I slam a car door on my finger and I get a cut somewhere, I always use CVS Isopropyl Alcohol. I only go with CVS. Don't tell me there's any other brands that can compete with this level of effectiveness from this brand. I mean, this is the best isopropyl alcohol I've ever used in my entire life. Like,
what the?
I've never gotten a single infection ever since I've used this alcohol, and it cleans my bong so well. Just put a little salt on it.
Wait,
All right,
was
back
that
back to the podcast.
I saw it on the story. Was it you that posted like was it TikTok or something like how to clean your bong, or was that somebody else? I saw.
Oh no, I don't do that stuff,
Okay, was
man.
that what
I
you
need to maintain my professional image.
was that what
I
you
do
were
not
doing right
engage
now?
in any drugs. I do not do underage drinking. I am not criminally liable for anything I say.
Yeah, you said you were 21, right? Not 20.
Yes, but I am in a state where
Oh, okay, okay.
yes,
Wait,
but I don't do any drugs.
what was that? Alcohol? I thought you were gonna do the calculator sponsorship.
Oh yeah, no. Uh yeah,
It's a
no, we're
new
not gonna
beat
do that
make.
today.
It's a
They're
new
not
beat
paying me,
making machine. It's a new drum machine.
Yeah, dude.
A lot of accountancy.
I'm trying to turn like yeah. I don't know if you remember my videos like over the summer. I was using like random items as drum machines. And that
Dude,
thing kind of
that's
caught on like a little bit.
that's the best way to build a kit. Is like using your household items and like building that sound design, like and tweaking it and all that. I think that's always interesting. Like, oh, I like
Yeah.
that snare. What was that? Spoon. Like, like what? Yeah, it's crazy what all these like people do
Yeah.
when they build their sounds. But yeah, man. Let's go to questions if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because there's a
Let's do it.
shitload. There's not a shitload of questions from a lot of people because not a lot of people ask me questions. But one of my homies asked a lot. I mean, we don't have to answer all of them, but I wanted to get your take on them too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. All right, so shout out to so this guy. His name is Emmanuel. We call him Eman. Eman.Santure. He's a family friend of mine, but he's been a family friend of mine for so long. He's kind of like a cousin because every family gathering, he's always there. So shout outs to you, bro. Yeah, he asked me a lot of stuff. There's some like deeper stuff like past the music. Sometimes I'll get questions about music, but today's not gonna be that. If you rewind the podcast, there's a lot of gems about music that Tony was talking about. But yeah, he said, yeah, this one's about culture actually. How'd you feel growing up as a first-gen American and being Filipino? So when I remember like in USC, I had a lot of friends that are Asian American, and what I'm starting to realize is that what I thought was a collective experience was not, and everyone's different. Like for me, the reason why I never tripped about not having not a lot of Asian friends, was because one, I grew up so I was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. That's like the region it's in LA County. It's north of the Hollywood Hills. That whole area. It's predominantly Latino, but there's some Filipinos there. There's some blacks. There's some whites, Armenians. There's some Koreans, and there's like it's very diverse. So I didn't feel, even if I was the only Asian kid in class, I didn't feel like I didn't see that as like a detriment because I don't know if you guys know, but Filipino families, at least my Filipino family, is huge. So, and a lot of my family lives in California, and we're very family oriented. So when I came back home after school, I kick it with my cousins. I have 2 older siblings, like both of my parents are Filipino. So it's like I never felt a lack of my Filipino heritage or identity, because whenever I would come home, regardless of the friends I made at school, I was always reminded and proud to be Filipino. Now, the American side is something I'm also proud of, and that's why I consider myself Filipino-American. I love a lot of things about America. I still think it's one of the best places to live, period. Because, like, I visited a lot of countries, not a lot, I'm barely starting to visit more countries. Like, I recently was in Korea and Japan. I've been to Philippines, Malaysia, and Mexico, for spring break. But, there's a lot of beautiful things about these countries, but I always think like I'd rather still settle in America because of the freedom that we have compared to a lot of different places. And I don't mean like legalistic freedom, I mean in the culture itself. Like American culture tends to encourage like that individual freedom, which I admire. I don't know if that's an American thing for me to say, but I also appreciate the collectivism, that mentality of like the Asian cultures, like putting family first. Like, I respect that. That's very respectable because like that's less selfish.
Yeah.
So I champion both, and there's cons of both cultures for sure, but I think because I had that upbringing from the jump, that I don't just hang out with Filipinos because they're Filipino. In fact, in college, I didn't have a lot of Filipino friends because I didn't feel like I need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the most Filipino thing I could say, because Filipinos are culturally we're very we're known as bridge builders because of our history. We were conquered by Spain. China definitely had a lot of influence. We were conquered by Japan. We relate to a lot of different Asian cultures, Latino culture, even African American culture. Because like there was that saying, like I think Childish Gambino, I forgot who said it, like Filipino girls are like the black girls of Asia.
No. Yeah,
was
yeah.
was it
before
Childish
too.
or who? I don't know which rapper said it. Maybe it was
No,
Childish Gambino.
yeah, I heard it somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of true. Like we relate on a lot of stuff, whether it's culture or upbringing or class, social class. But I don't know. That's me, and I was wondering for you, Tony. I forgot what you were or what you consider yourself to be. So, if you don't mind sharing that again, and what your take is on that. You don't have to give like a long, deep answer, but if you want, cool. I mean, we'll keep it running, but it's up to you. Just answer however you want it.
Honestly, man, I'm just Tony Shen. Like, I don't really identify myself with a specific type of culture, honestly, at this point, because I've grown up in so many different parts. Like, I was born in China,
Right.
and like I lived in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and dude, this video is sponsored by Canada. But anyways,
yeah,
dude,
Canada.
yeah, like, yeah, I'm Canadian. Now I'm in the United States, so I've been in so many different places, and
Right.
I don't really like would call myself one thing, and I grew up in different, like I've been in different, like Maryland is completely different from California, and it's completely different from Montreal. So
Right.
I don't know, like I don't really know what to call myself because I've always hung around different types of people.
Right.
Like here, it's like a lot of white people, a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Asians. There's a lot of Asians here too.
Right.
Like Indians, like I don't know, like
Yeah.
I've just never really associated myself with the color. Like I'm Asian, but I'm not like an Asian artist or like an Asian, like
you're not bound to that, or you're not.
like,
you don't want to be boxed into that because you're more than that.
Yeah.
You have like unique experiences, and I think that's the whole takeaway with that answer is, it's not what's the word, monolithic. It's not a monolithic experience. Like it really is different for a lot of different people, because I have friends where they grew up in a certain area of the States where they were the only Asian kid and they were bullied for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I got picked on for having the certain eye shape or whatever too, but like again, I said, like, because when I came back home, I was cool with that. Not cool with that, but like I'm cool with that with my own heritage, because I had that reinforced in my household, and and with yours too. It's really beautiful, because it's like you've been in a lot of different places, and that molds you to be whoever you are now, Tony Shen. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was first of many questions. Let's see another one he said. Oh, to add on to that, he's asking you. This one's a little touchy, but he asked, "Are you into certain politics?" We don't have to go deep in politics, but like it's a very like interesting topic. Have you heard the recent news with like Andrew Yang and whatnot? Like,
I haven't really been keeping up, but we can talk about it. I mean,
sure.
I'll just listen. Yeah.
Sure. So he had I think it was a Washington Post or something. He said recently, like, so mind you guys, like, you've probably seen my story. I'm Yang Gang, man. Like, this was the guy. I supported his campaign. I donated. Like, I was disappointed when he opted out of the race, and I'm about what he represented, in terms of the U.S. and running for president and whatnot and helping out people, but like recently he got a lot of responses, because he was saying how, like, this whole virus thing was like a lot more, I guess, Asians are experiencing like racism, right? Like, just like in the streets or whatever. And I won't say verbatim what he said, but it was kind of like, oh, as Asians we should do our part to like help the cure and like be good to our neighbors, wear red, white, and blue, all that. And it kind of came off in a lot of ways, at least for my friends, that was kind of like disappointed by that statement, was that it kind of seemed like he wasn't empathetic towards Asians and kind of just submitting to like quote unquote like white America, right? And I
Yeah.
definitely understand and see that. And me as a Yang Gang, I was kind of disappointed in that too. But
Yeah.
how I am with politics or religion is I try to see both sides. You know, there's always two sides to the story. So I have
Yeah.
empathy, and I kind of get why Andrew Yang said it. And what clicked in my
Yeah.
head is like throughout his whole campaign, because like people would criticize him for like he made a joke about like I don't know if it was like the appearance of an Asian running for president and being good at math. Like people were like, oh, you're just perpetuating
Oh, yeah, yeah,
stereotypes
yeah,
and
yeah.
whatnot. But I was like, no, he's kind of using that to like his advantage, right? Which, you know, I don't know. People are gonna cancel me for supporting that, but like that's just
Yeah.
me because like I relate more to him, and I think it's just because like to me what I'm getting is that he is more American maybe than he is. I think Taiwanese is where he's two immigrant parents are from.
Yeah.
And to me, like,
Yeah.
I get it. He is a huge influence, and it wasn't the best responsible thing to do in a crisis where
Mhm.
Asians are getting attacked. So I was like, damn, I could see how he effed up there. But I also understand why he said that. And that's how I
Yeah.
am with politics and religion. It's like, I'm pretty in the middle, not because I'm wishy-washy, but I try to understand both sides. And I don't think things
Yeah.
are black and white. I think things get taken out of context a lot, and or
Yeah.
maybe he does feel that way. Then it's like, well, that is disappointing in my opinion, but other people feel otherwise and whatnot, and that's just is what it is. I think at the end of the day, what matters is what you do. People can say a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, but it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's actions go further than people's opinions and words. And me,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing
For
much
sure.
about it. That's why I'm not talking too much about it. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like,
You gotta be careful with what you say, man. For real.
dude,
Like,
for
no matter
sh-
where,
no matter
like in
where, man.
China, like think about it. Like no matter where, like your freedom of speech is limited. Like even the
Exactly.
United States, like in China's by the government and here's by the market.
Exactly.
Like if you say anything that goes against the market, like you will be punished severely.
Yep. Yep.
Stuff that you could get away with saying in the 1960s, you can't say now. Not because the
Exactly.
rules have changed or the government said otherwise, because the market changed.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
got
my answer
gotta
to
be
that.
careful.
Yep.
Yeah,
So if anything, at least it's bringing me more awareness, which is always good.
yeah,
Because a
yeah,
lot of people
yeah,
speak out of ignorance, not because they're generally like bad people. They just don't know. So I think
yeah,
it's good to be aware of these things so that we know and can understand more
yeah.
where people are coming from, regardless which side you take. Um, yeah. So, and the next question, same dude. He was not joking when I told him like, "Yo, send me all your questions." He gave it like 5, bro. But okay, this one's about food, which relates to my other homie's question. So I'm gonna answer that last. That'll be the last thing, because I'm gonna eat lunch after this. I need lunch. But
Oh yeah,
so
lunch, huh?
yeah, so we'll skip that. We'll do that last. Okay. How do you think your music will evolve in the future? Artists grow, but how do you feel of the fans' response? Um, as you guys know, I'm a huge Kanye fan, and I really
Yeah,
look up to how he approached things as an artist and as a producer, as a musician. So I kind of like how every album of his sounds different.
yeah,
It shows that he's not afraid to evolve and take risks. And you
yeah,
know, there's that whole old Kanye, new Kanye. He lost a lot of fans because of
yeah,
it. But as time goes on, I feel like they age like wine. They just get better. Like I was like listening to 808s and Heartbreaks like
yeah,
last week. I was like, holy, he was way ahead of his time, man. When people were shitting on
yeah,
autotune, because like that album in 2008 influenced so
yeah,
many artists that we f with today. The
yeah,
Weeknd, Travis, Kid Cudi, right?
yeah,
So I think that fans' response. I think the real fans, you can have your taste. Like not every fan is gonna like every album, but the fans that
yeah,
stay and understand that they're an artist and they just want to do what they want. They want to grow. They want to take different approaches. They'll still remain a fan,
yeah,
even though everyone's gonna have their favorite. I mean, even for myself, a lot of my personal fans and people that love my beats, they always want me to make stuff from like my track Ecstasy, which I put on my first instrumental EP, like that boom
Yeah.
bap, like type of style, soul
Yeah.
sample. And then like I transitioned to more like trap stuff, and now I'm kind of doing both. But it's like
Yeah.
that's completely fine. Like people, I'm not gonna force people to like other stuff that they don't like, and
Yeah.
they just gotta know that because I'm an artist, like I'm gonna continue to grow. And same as for producers and engineers, like people change. We're all human. Like we're not gonna,
Yeah.
if we stay the same way, like we probably won't reach a certain level of progress
Yeah.
that we have potential to.
Yeah.
So you could definitely relate to that, right? Like
Yeah.
how
No,
have
no,
you
for
grown
sure.
artistically? Have you lost like certain like potential collaborators or fans or even people that just like your music in general? They're like, I wish you were doing this instead, or not yet, or
No, I definitely feel that I need to adhere to some certain people that I've built relationships with. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know what my music can sound in the future, and I like the fact that
exactly,
I don't know
exactly,
because
yeah, yeah,
I'm just like a sponge. I soak up everything. I listen to literally every genre of music,
yeah,
and I'm open to everything, and I just want to learn as much as I can. And
yeah,
obviously, I'm gonna go in a certain direction and go farther away from another direction, right?
right,
And
right.
like the people that I've worked with, that I've been with the other direction, like that's something I've been worried about too, just losing connections with those people.
Mm.
So, I mean, we'll see, cause yeah, it just I don't know, man. This is a good question.
Yeah, I think to
It's,
add to that is like, um, man, what was I gonna say? It was to my tongue. Shoot. Oh yeah, yeah. I think what you said about learning is key. Like being a
yeah,
student to everything. Like
yeah,
yeah, I am pushing the Kanye West type beats because to me, from a business standpoint, that's what sells. So I gotta double
yeah,
down on that. But I'm not bound to
yeah,
that. A good example is like I'm into K-pop.
yeah,
I'm trying to learn how to make K-pop beats, which is so hard because like
yeah,
hip hop is mainly like loops, right? Which is why I'm
yeah,
like that's my forte. But K-pop, it's like always switching up. There's a lot of musicality,
yeah,
a lot of theory.
yeah,
So I'm like, it's another like uphill battle because I don't know all these
yeah,
skills. But it's making me a better producer because now it's like it's opening a
yeah,
door that I haven't opened before. So I
yeah,
think, yeah, man, like if the creator themselves wants to grow, like as fans, you shouldn't stop them from doing that. You don't have to like their
yeah,
newest stuff.
yeah,
They'll always have their old stuff, so that's
yeah,
all good. But at the end of the
yeah,
day, we're all human, and we want to be students and constantly learn and get better. And who knows,
yeah,
people's tastes change. Like perfect example, right? With Kanye, like I listen to old shit. I'm like people didn't like Yeezus and Life of Pablo, and it's like
yeah,
this is
yeah,
crazy, like ahead of its time. So people change too.
yeah,
Yeah. And then
yeah.
the last question before the food question is, I think this would relate more to you because you're still technically in school, right? Is what's your
Yeah.
personal advice? Because my family friend Emmanuel Eman, what's your personal advice for people about to go through post grad life? I think he's a senior right now, which I have a cousin that's also a senior, and like I feel bad for like you guys because it's like you had plans set up, and I was like with this whole thing, it's like
Yeah.
what do we do
Yeah.
now, right? But I guess for me, what my personal advice for people about to go through post grad life, I don't have much to offer because one, I literally graduated last year, so I'm pretty fresh
Yeah.
off of it too. And another thing to add is I was never I didn't even expect to have a job when I graduated.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a true blessing because one, I'm a music major, like, like bro, like you have a business degree, like you're more guaranteed to like get a job than me, right? And that
Yeah.
was my mindset, and I was like, I don't know, I'll work retail or whatever when I graduate, like I don't care. Um, but I was super blessed to be offered the internship to work for this audio plugin company in the Bay, and that offer came literally last minute, like March, like around this time. And for USC, we graduated in May. Did the interview. In the interview, I could tell they wanted to hire me already for the fall, and I was like, holy shit, I just accepted an offer. I mean, it was my only offer, to be honest. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't get accepted anywhere else, so I had to take it, and that opened up so many doors for me. Even though I eventually left after 6 months because I wanted to pursue other things, so many great things happened for me because I took that risk, moved to a different area, get out of my bubble. Um, so post grad, number one, like shoot your shot, take that risk. You never know where you're gonna go with it. Number two, on the opposite end of that spectrum is if you don't have a job, if you don't have opportunity, a lot of people can get stuck into like thinking that that's a bad thing. But I think from my school, from USC, I don't know how other schools are, is it's very competitive, right? You would say the culture in USC is very competitive. Everyone's trying to one up each other. Image matters a lot. Who has the most accolades? Who has the most right? So that pressure builds up. But at the same time, it's like, guys, I'm only 22, man. Like, a lot of people that I look up to, they're in their late 30s, 40s maybe, before anything started clicking. I'm young. And I think knowing that it took a lot of pressure off my back. That if I make certain mistakes or if I don't land certain gigs, I know. And it builds your patience too. Because it's like, I'm still young. I got to enjoy. You got to enjoy while you're young and healthier.
Yeah.
You got to really enjoy that. Because I think a lot of people that get in it too quickly realize that, hey, man, this is not what makes me happy. And I wish I would have built those relationships with friends, with family, with, I don't know. But I say that with a sense of privilege. Of course, some people don't have choices. But even that, even if you don't have a choice, you're still young. Say you had to work a job for X amount of years. You'll probably be done with that job at 30. 30's young. Like, we used to think it's old, but, you know, with the internet, there's so many opportunities that... Yeah. So I wouldn't stress about it too much. And the bright side about that, for my friend E-Man, is that you realize that most of your friends are on the same boat. Like, literally everyone's like that. Everyone's trying to figure it out. No one has the answers. A lot of our degrees are not being put to actual use. Some of us are and process them. But, you know, take your time and figure out life and build relationships and don't be afraid to try new stuff. So that's my take on it. I mean, you're a junior, right? So it's like, and you're going to be a senior next year. So I'm curious how that's going to go. Next year. But, you know, like you said, you had an internship lined up. But, hey, at least you're still getting a couple weeks on it online. So.
Yeah. I'm just fortunate that, like, worst comes to worst, I at least have a job offer from, like, a solid accounting firm.
Exactly.
Like, coming out of college.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, I want to use that as a learning experience for me as well, because I'm not the most talented producer, and I'm not trying to be. Like, I know I can't compete. Like, when I work with Latasha, like Zach, or whatever other artists I'm working with, I know for a fact I'm not the best producer that they know or that they're in connection with. Yeah. But what I can offer is, like, what I've learned through school, which is, like, the business side of things and, like, knowing certain things. And I want to get a job in accounting, get my CPA license.
Hell right? Yeah.
Be more on the back end, and then just build my own business and, like, my own record label, and then make connections with the artists now. But I want to get the financial, like, the business experience, understand that, get my licenses, get all my requirements, and just be on the back end and still do music, obviously. But I want to build more from a corporate perspective.
Hell yeah.
And then help people in terms of managing money, because artists are the best when it comes to, you know, knowing what to invest in, or, like, knowing what to buy, or, like, even tax rules. Like, bro, I took a tax class, man. I'll do your taxes. Like, I got you, man.
When I started learning about taxes, I was like, finally, like, this is actually to my benefit. I've been putting it off, but after
the income you get from Spotify is deductible.
Dude, all the expenses you do. I finally got my refund recently, and I'm like, thank God I learned about this, because one, I really need the money because I'm unemployed. But, like, imagine I didn't do my taxes and didn't know that. Who knows where I would have been right now? So that's tight, man, and I think that's super valuable because you're someone that knows the business side, but you know the artist side, you know the producer side, like. Yeah. That's gonna help your business even more, if anything, on both ends. Yeah. Whether it's a label, whether it's building a production team or working with artists. So you definitely try new skills and keep building that. So that's to answer that question. And then the last parts of the question is, this person asked, the same one, E-Man asked, for food. Filipino food scene, how do you feel about it, where it is now and where it should go? And then the homie nostalgia.dom Patrick, he said, where would you recommend eating in Korea? So I'm gonna answer the Korea one first because that one's really quick answer. So for people that are listening, when I went to Korea and Japan, me and my brother, we were on a tight budget. So ideally, we wanted to eat KBBQ all day, but we didn't. So we had to resort to like convenience store or fast food. I really love Burger King in Korea, bro. Like, holy shit. They have this thing called the Monster Whopper. It has the beef patty, a chicken patty, and like this like red spicy sweet Korean sauce. I'm like,
Damn.
I don't even like Whoppers in Burger King. But when I had the Monster Whopper in Korea, that was really good, man. So just that.
Yeah.
There's this place called Lotteria. It's like their fast food chain. They have like they have like a crispy chicken sandwich, and I like it. It's not as good as Popeye's chicken sandwich, but it's like it's in that range. That was really good. And there's this place in Hongdae. Hongdae is like the college town. A lot of fashionable people, a lot of shopping areas. There's this place called Dak Galbi, which is like this like cheese fondue place. Like basically like think of KBBQ, but you put chicken on it and vegetables, and like melted cheese, and you just you just like eat that meat and those vegetables. You dip it in the melted cheese like a cheese fondue. That thing is bomb. So that's the answer to Patrick's question. Where you recommend eating in Korea, but bro, you're not gonna be in Korea anytime soon, like with all these travel bans. But yeah. But Filipino food scene, how do we feel about it, where it is now, and where it should go? Honestly, I don't know much about the Filipino food scene besides my dad's cooking and Jollibee. You probably heard of Jollibee, right? Or
Yeah, I know Jollibee.
It's like the McDonald's of Philippines. But here's my take on the Filipino food scene, or at least the impression I get. A lot of Filipino cuisine is home cooked meals. That's why you don't see a lot of restaurants, because it's like this is something my dad makes, or my mom, or my grandma, or my aunt. Like, you go to a Filipino party, everyone's cooking that dish, and that's a potluck. I mean, here and there we'll cater certain things, certain items, but I think for it to be like where Korean food is now, where Japanese food is now, where Thai food is now, Vietnamese food, right? Chinese food, like Indonesian food, right? Like Rich Brian put that more on the map when he did that video with, I forgot the person on YouTube, but they reviewed a lot of food like that. I think a boost will be a lot of like, I don't know, influencers, or because like if you see your favorite rapper or artist or celebrity eating Filipino food, you're gonna want to try it, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that's my general take. I think it's hard because a lot of these dishes are like home cooked stuff. So how do we give it a spin in a food truck or something where it's like people can easily digest it more from a concept perspective? Like, no pun intended, but like they could digest it from a concept perspective. Yeah. So that's my answer to that. Yeah.
I think what might be able to fuel like just any food scene in general is like the marijuana scene.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Imagine if I open a dispensary next to a restaurant.
Or all in one. Like, you go, Chief.
Yeah, or all in one,
And then...
But the licenses is going to be complicated. Say I open a dispensary next to a restaurant. That restaurant's going to get so much more business, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like...
Hell yeah.
Yo, like... Yeah. I'm going to help out these restaurants, man. All these small businesses are suffering right now. But, like, once I have the power... Like, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you guys out. I'm gonna open dispensaries next to every single restaurant.
You're like, I don't know if you follow. Do you follow like Action Bronson, like his stuff?
Oh yeah.
Like he's big on that, like cooking stuff and like being a chef, but also smoking hella weed, and like they go hand in hand, man, for sure. My cousin's actually, that's one of his goals too, like, cause he's into food and cooking and also weed, so it's like, why not, you know, and curate that for artists to put their music there. It's like, it's a whole culture. They're all like, they mesh well together. So, yeah. That's pretty much all our questions, man. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add. If there's not, you could just last words and shout out whatever you want to shout out, projects or people or, So we're in like an hour and 20 minutes right now. Well,
oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Shout out Layno Prod.
Yeah.
Shout out Layno Film. Dude, I've been following that on Instagram and like it's so aesthetic.
I ran out of pictures, bro. I ran out of pictures. I want to go shoot, but I can't, bro.
It's hard out.
But I can't wait to like start getting back into that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Shout out Zach Zach West.
Hey.
Pray for his health.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
going through rehab right now. Pray for him. Hope he does best.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Lataj official,
Yeah.
and shout out this guy. He just the kid RJ. He just posted a beat with one of my. He just posted a song with one of my beats. So shout out to him.
Hell yeah.
Probably doesn't need a shout out, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, yeah, definitely send me those links if you want. I could put it on my YouTube description, Instagram handles. I could put it on the caption to shout out or tag certain people. And I'll send you, once I finish editing this, maybe in 1 or 2 days, I'm trying to do a podcast, ideally twice a week. So I would record people on Tuesdays and Saturdays and have an episode on Mondays and Thursdays, I think is what I'm trying to do. But I'll send you this file. Send me a picture of you, like in a square format, any picture you want, and then that's where I'm gonna put like Layno Pod episode 2 and all that.
All right, I'm gonna use my Tinder profile.
Yeah, if you want, man, I don't care, man. As long as it's not showing no nudity, like. But yeah, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, this is Tony Shen. This was Layno Pod episode 2, the LaynoProd podcast. I don't know what I'm gonna title this, but we talk a lot of stuff, whether it's producing and hip hop or whether it's culture and food and whatnot. But a lot of gems in here, so definitely gonna upload this soon and pump more out. So thank you guys for tuning in. All right, peace.